It's hard to believe that our time in this beautiful continent is nearly over. Our final 2 weeks in Africa conclude in Uganda, also known as the Pearl of Africa, and it begins in search of the primates that share 98% of our DNA. Every time we arrive somewhere new, I find myself constantly looking out of the window of whatever mode of transportation we're in, captivated by all the different sights and sounds this new place has to offer. This is what happens when you're traveling and you don't have a gym.
Feel the burn!
We'd be spending a lot of time in the car during our 3-day road trip to Bwindi Impenetrable National Park, so there was plenty of opportunity to soak it all in. The first stop on our way to Queen Elizabeth National Park was at the Equator Line, which happens to be another item on Karen's bucket list. We had to try out the Coriolis effect experiment that I've now come to realize may actually be a bit of a sham. But someone with a smarter brain than mine can properly explain that one.
Welcome at the Equator Line in Uganda. So we're going to do an experiment to prove that the forces of North and South don't spin the same. So Canada, Germany, Netherlands, that's North. Whereas in Russia toilets, your water spins clockwise. Then South Africa, Australia, Tanzania, South, it goes anti-clockwise. So in the North, orange water spins clockwise. 23rd September, it was yesterday, equinox.
Yeah?
Those who stood at the Equator Line midday,
Yeah.
they had no shadow.
Ah,
The sun was overhead.
so cool.
Yesterday.
That was yesterday?
Yeah, sure.
Oh.
Very cool.
So now let's cross and go to the
Okay.
south. So now it's counterclockwise.
Cool.
Then there are only 13 countries that are crossed by the Equator Line. Ecuador, Colombia, Brazil, Sao Tome, Gabon, Congo Brazzaville, Congo DRC, Uganda, Kenya, Somalia, Indonesia, Golontalen. So they send us straight down. Questions yet? So
No.
enjoy Uganda. You're welcome.
That's really
Thank you so
cool.
much.
We're finally at our new home for the night. And we have not one, not two, but 3 beds to choose from. I'm gonna jump on all of them. And my favorite part. Our outdoor shower.
Oh, she's moving fast.
Yeah, it is, eh?
When she goes down, she goes.
Yeah?
She goes bad. Been a long ass journey to get here.
I think we thought it was gonna be like maybe 10 hours.
This place is absolutely beautiful. We were supposed to stay somewhere else. Elephant Lodge, I think is what it was called. But we are now, where are we?
Aardvark. A-A-R-D-V-A-R-K.
A-A-R-D-V-A-R-K. A-A-R-D-V-A-R-K.
Not a whole lot going on today. It's more so just getting to our stay for the next 2 days. Tomorrow we're doing some chimpanzee trekking, so looking forward to that.
Good morning.
Good night.
It was good. How was yours?
Karen's always trying to save the world.
I want him to flip over.
Do not even touch that beetle. The size of that thing.
Flip him,
This
babe.
is the biggest beetle I've ever seen in my
Flip him
life.
over.
Not touching him at all. Okay, we're out here heading to our chimpanzee trek.
first event in Uganda. This is our guide, Simpson.
Simpson, our
Man.
best friend.
I don't want to complain because we're very privileged, but these early mornings are getting to your boy. So we've been drinking coffee now. I feel like I'm becoming a coffee person, someone I thought I would never be. Karen, still not so much.
It's nasty.
Chambura Gorge was formed as a result of the tectonic plate movement called faulting. And faulting is a geological process that occurs when the rocks on the earth break and they move along the fault line. So that's how this gorge was formed. Usually our trekking lasts from 1.5 to 2 hours if we find these chimpanzees within like 30 minutes or 20. But sometimes you can do a walk of like 1 hour, maybe 2 hours without seeing them, because you know with the nature, we can only see what nature gives us.
This is crazy.
That's why we see the knuckles. And we know the direction. When you look here is bigger and behind is a bit tiny. So in front is bigger. Let me put also my sample. Yes?
Yes.
Bit fair. You see in front is bigger and behind is tiny. So for them, this one is too big from this side. So this one tells us that it was going the other side. And this is how we track them. And this is so fresh in the morning.
We're getting close.
And then, not 5 minutes later, there they were, a group of 4 chimpanzees right in front of our eyes, and our excitement could barely be contained. While Karen and I could have sat there for hours just observing, nature had other plans. The trackers and our guides informed us we would need to quickly get going, as there was a herd of elephants not too far behind us. And unlike the chimps, the elephants wouldn't be as accepting towards our presence.
Woo! Simpson, we made it back, man.
We did it. We saw chimps.
Okay,
that's
I always find myself thinking about time and how fast it's moving. I don't know if that's the same for everyone, but it's this constant nagging thought in my head. Maybe that's why I love shooting video and putting these together. It's the closest thing to time travel, allowing us the ability to go back and relive moments, reminding us what it sounded like floating down the Kazinga Channel, or the rush of excitement we felt driving through Queen Elizabeth Park on another game drive. These are all things that we had thought about for so long leading up to this trip. And here we were entering the final few days of our wildlife portion on this journey. Thankfully though, we had one more experience in store, and what Bwindi Impenetrable Forest would provide us with would be the most memorable of them all.
Nice bathtub to bathe in. Are we using it to bathe? No. Just use it to do some laundry.
This is the spin cycle. The goal is
Jeez, don't flash these babies around here.
just a little cleaner than they were. Not really clean.
After an incredible 2 days at Aardvark Lodge, we are back on the road. Long day of driving today, another 8 hours. I think in grand total for this entire trip, we'll have spent probably close to a full 24 hours in the car driving to and from to get to these trips. But it's all always so worth it once you get to the actual experience. So today, right now, we're just driving through Queen Elizabeth National Park, and we're on our way to Bwindi Impenetrable Forest so that we can finally go gorilla trekking.
It's my little baby over there. Yeah.
Here he comes.
Out the way.
Yo!
on behalf of Uganda Wildlife Authority and on my behalf, I would like to warmly welcome and thank you very much for having made up your minds to come here for mountain biking. You are most welcome.
Here we go. Trek begins.
What's happening? I'm so excited.
We found the easiest way to enter.
Walking straight through the bush, straight uphill.
We shall be asked to leave walking sticks there because the gorillas get scared of the sticks. They think you want to pick them up. Some may attempt to do something on you. Maybe to see what you do. Like you can have this and hit in front of you, or hit you, or side kick you as he runs away, or punch you. Anything can happen. I don't know what will happen.
Being completely surrounded by this family of gorillas was equal parts breathtaking and terrifying all at once. Unlike the chimpanzees, these primates were active the entire time, and they made sure to remind us to keep our distance while we were in their home.
We're chasing a silverback.
We found on these wildlife and safari trips that guides can really make or break your experience. And we couldn't have been more fortunate with Buyaga Safaris and Simpson, who quickly went from a guide to a friend throughout our 4 days chasing Uganda's wildlife. As we wrapped up our time with him, he reminded us how important the strength of a relationship is, and it would be something we leaned on heavily in our final week.
The key to happiness for myself is having someone that gives you peace in life, that understands you, that knows you, every situation you are passing through, either hard or easy, that person that could be there for you. It is the most thing that makes me happiness.
One last week in Africa. Let's get it, baby.
What's drawn Karen and I to the type of travel we've done over the past few years is what you get out of it. All I knew before our travels together was a beach resort vacation. And while they are some of my favorite memories, there is this perspective shifting experience you go through when you explore a country. When you meet people you never would have otherwise, and you get a small taste of what life is like in different parts of the world. That's exactly what our final week in Uganda was all about, as Eddie and Eva welcomed us into their home and we volunteered at the school they founded in Jinja called Ripples of Hope.
The story of Ripples started in the middle of COVID-19 when there was a lockdown. We were not going to our jobs in the city, And we would come to this place. It was our farm by then. And this is when the idea of Ripples of Hope was born. So we started to make bricks from this very place, mixing the mud and baking the bricks, and we started building a school because there was need for a place where children would access quality education. We started with 2 classrooms, and fast forward, when the lockdown was lifted, the school was opened, and 198 children came to school in 2022. We've been growing. Now we are over 300 children. Like Nelson Mandela said, if you want to change the world, education is the very important tool because it's the real empowerment. You invest in the mind, and the mind is the source of all the transformation. So we believe that through education, we are empowering the children sustainably, where their potential is nurtured, and it opens endless doors of opportunity for them to become what they want.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Our visit to Jinja was eye-opening, and we were definitely challenged throughout our time there. Being able to witness some of the living conditions in the community and the impact of limited access to education was a humbling experience. It's reminded us of the stark contrast in our world and has deepened our gratitude for the things we often take for granted. What Eddie and his wife Eva do for their community is inspirational, and they are some of the most selfless people we have ever met. They serve as a reminder of the importance of community, because without their dedication and the help around them, this wouldn't be possible.